What's up, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Still doing a one-man show down here. Appreciate all your well wishes. And let's go ahead and get started. Usually have T or Kevin is on this. Thank you so much for being with us on a Tuesday night in Kensington, Maryland. On behalf of First Amendment Sports, I am Ken Marangolo. Not usually missing my two good friends over here, Tim Strachan and Kevin Ricka. Benjamin still maintaining a safe distance. It's thank God it's Tuesday. Tuesday still came, everybody. It came. It's here. We did not miss it. And thank God for it. And I have a really awesome guest who'll be joining us tonight. Somebody who, let's be honest, we love. And we love talking Redskins with. So on behalf of First Amendment Sports in Hogs Haven, I'd like to welcome in Redskins cornerback, Fred Smoot. Good evening, sir.
Hey, good evening, brother. Thanks for having me.
Oh, come on, man. I wish you lived in this basement a full time.
I'm sure everybody would. That's one thing we might have to talk about. What would be the three people that you would love to be quarantined with for at least a week?
Go ahead. You get first overall pick.
Who would I be? Who?
Yeah, you get number one pick, and I'm gonna go second.
All right, all right. Now it don't have. It could be sports. It could be whatever.
It's a
My
basement
number
quarantine.
one person
Yeah.
would probably be. Hmm. Ooh. That's a good. That's a good.
I'm gonna say it because Darren McClinton and Juice would want to shake their heads at me. So John Stewart is always my like dinner party guy who I want to hang out with answer, and everyone looks at me like I just.
I love John Stewart.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you.
I love John Stewart. See, my guy, I was gonna draft somebody from the Wayans family,
All
but I
right.
like the whole family so much I don't know which one to pick.
Damon.
So I probably pick somebody like D.L. Hughley or somebody that I know we're gonna get into some conversations that's gonna be crazy. So with my first pick, it will be a comedian, and I think it'll be Chris Rock.
All right, I'll go Dave Chappelle. I got Dave Chappelle and John Stewart so far.
All right, that's nice. That's nice.
By the
All
way,
right.
he's number one of all time, right? Is he all time? Is he going down? Is he in the goat category? Are you talking about greatest comedian of all time stuff when you talk about Dave Chappelle right now?
Oh, most definitely. And you gotta always put Richard Pryor in there. There's always some guys that just gonna be right in there because when you talk about comedians, just like athletes, you got your good points and you got your weak points. And most comedians, they even great at stand up, or either they better in acting, or they better in the movies.
Yep.
Then you get some of them rare talents that do both of them very well. Plus, they are naturally funny. Some of these guys can't really be funny off the script, but some of these guys are just naturally who they
yeah.
are, and they're funny all the time. So I judge it by that. That's why I say Richard Pryor has to be at the top, but David Chappelle by far is not too far behind.
All right, so I'm gonna give you D.L. Hughley and
No, my first pick was Chris Rock.
I'm saying I took Dave Chappelle and I can't take Dave Chappelle and D.L. Hughley, so he's gonna be in your basement, but it's your pick.
All right, that's what I say. I went Chris Rock
Yep.
with my pick to match yours, and with my next pick, I go Barack Obama.
That's a great
Yeah.
basement. Chris
Mhm.
Rock, Barack Obama.
Yes, yes,
Uh,
yes.
I don't know. Maybe I might have to invite you over and just because if I can't hang out with Barack Obama and Chris Rock, then neither can you. You have to be in my basement.
Hey, listen to me. This is my draft pick. You got to give me somebody.
All right, all right. Then you know what? Then I'm gonna have to stay. I don't know. I think I got to go music. I gotta have somebody who can keep us going and
Entertaining.
yeah,
Yes,
gotta be
yes.
entertaining.
You're totally correct.
I got a whole wall over here, and just since the last time you were here, I think it's the same wall. It's Dylan, Marvin Gaye, Bruce Springsteen, Dave Grohl, and a Tribe Called Quest. So
Mhm.
I can. I picked a Tribe Called Quest in our rapper draft first overall when we did it
Mhm.
with Sean. But maybe you know what, I might say Bruce. Oh, Bruce Springsteen in the basement with Dave Chappelle to me sounds like a good time.
Yeah, that's pretty good. I can't say that that wouldn't be a great time. But now that I have my comedian that's gonna keep me laughing, I have my guy that will get me real deep and let's talk some worldly things. Like
Hmm.
you said, now it's time for a little music in the house. And I got a lot to pick from because my musical taste is it's all over the field. So now I got to say, do I want to be chill right now, or do I want to crank it up right now since everybody else is down? If you know what I
Yeah,
mean.
yeah. You're gonna like Curtis Mayfield or something like that.
My main pick, he's not here no more. Marvin Gaye is who I would really want in this basement with me.
He's
Because
on my.
what's going on seems to be the proper song for this time and day right now.
Sure is. It sure does. How are you doing, man? How are you feeling?
I'm doing great, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing good. We're running a full time school here. My wife is, of course, the principal and the vice principal and the dean of discipline. I'm chipping
Mm-hmm.
in, wherever I can, doing a little bit of work on the
You're,
side.
you're a substitute teacher, huh? You're a substitute.
Yeah, but like the kind that like the kids take advantage of.
Yeah, yeah, most definitely. Don't know anybody's name, just that substitute that come in and just don't say nothing the whole day but read his paper
just put a movie
of
on.
yesterday's news.
Just put a movie on, and they go home and they're like, "What'd you do at school today?" We watched a movie. Yup, Mr. Marangolo was there, wasn't he? It was Mr. Marangolo's day to teach. I was like, "Yep, it sure was."
Well, I'm also running a Fred Smoot private school for the gifted for my kids also, and I got multiple titles. I even work in the lunch cafeteria
Woo!
at my school, and I handle gym stuff. But I still mix it up with a couple of things because I'm from Mississippi, so survival is what we do. I was built for times like this. See, while everybody else was running to the grocery store to get all the vegetables and stuff they could, not me, because that stuff is going to deteriorate in 4, 5, 6 days anyway.
That's right.
Instead, I ran to Home Depot and got tomato plants, cucumber plants. I got watermelon vine. I got all kind of romaine lettuce. So I grow all of that. So it pushes out daily. I never have to worry about getting it. So now all I have to get is the meat and the other thing because I always had the vegetables no matter what.
Everyone sleeps on your ability to garden and cultivate. I mean, because you spent so much time covering the earth on the in a different. For now, you got a whole situation where I love the idea of you just in the middle. Because I know you like the heat. I don't like the heat.
Yes,
I know you like the
I
heat.
love the heat. I
Yeah,
love the heat.
I
I
can't.
love the
I
heat.
can't do it. I can't do it like you can. And but I'll tell you what, Fred. We care about you, and we care about a lot of guys. That people need to remember. Talk about this time we find ourselves in. Talk about pre-existing conditions. Tell me one football player that's ever walked off the field out of that league without a few pre-existing medical conditions.
Well, you're not gonna have that. You can't play a game like this and think you're not gonna do some damage to your body. At the end of the day, think of your body like if it was a car, and if you keep bumping into other cars, you're gonna have some scratches, some dents, some stuff that just can't be repaired. I mean, repaired, and your car never runs the same. That's part of it. That's part of it when you sign up for the game, and you know it. And I don't think any other players will trade in their career because you told them they're gonna get injured because we kind of knew this when we was playing pick up and run and football with no equipment on. So
Yep.
it's one of them things, man. It comes with it, and some bodies are more callous than others. So some can take a bigger beating than others, but other than that, like I said, it's part of the game.
Sometimes I feel like you forgot the beating that your body could take on a couple of situations where you just said you signed up for an extra large beating a couple of times. But that's why we love you. That's why we always like, you know what? You put your nose in there all the time. And I'm more talking about Fred. Like, do they are the is the union and the players association, reaching out to you guys and making sure that you're taking all the precautions necessary,
Well,
throughout all this?
they're usually pretty good at times like this. I don't know because I haven't talked to a vast amount of the guys that have reached out to him. But I can say that usually in times like this, they usually come through and they usually do right by the players. And you haven't heard any players come out and say otherwise. And you know, in this time, day and time with social media, if anybody felt like they was being wrong, you wouldn't you would hear it. So
Sure.
evidently everything is going pretty good right now for most of the fellas. I hope everybody's out there is good, especially in like I say in a time of something being different. Like the one thing about it, we so routine and get into comfortable things, and then when change happens, we have to adapt on the run, and I think that's what these guys are naturally good at.
Well, I'm certainly glad to hear you're doing well. I'm definitely glad to know that you're running a school at your house because
For the gifted, it's a school
for
age
the
ladies.
gifted,
I run it from a kid.
I know, and it is for the gifted. I think that's including the teachers as well, obviously. But no, I'm just glad that I mean, so think about it, Fred. We're in this situation now when we have kids to worry about and take care of and teach because it's supposed to be school and they're not in school. But think about like if someone had told you that you had to stay home and when you were in your 20s and you had a couple basically you had a nice pad essentially hole up in. um,
Hmm.
it would be a whole different story than what we're talking about right now. I bet you that.
Well, guess what? This is when. Let me tell you something. For all the bad things, and I think I've always been a half cup full type of guy. For
Yep.
all the bad things this virus is causing, it's so much good stuff coming from it. When I say good stuff, I've never seen people spend this much time because of the demands of work and having to pay this bill and do this thing and living day to day. People get time to spend with their family, not only spend just doing small things like watching TV, but also actually teaching them. So they have to respect them in a whole nother way. And you're spending this time with you get to really mold them. And you get to really see what the teachers were saying to you wasn't really a lie. Some of your kids are bad, and they're just part of it. So now you get to really do like when I go for my walks and stuff. I haven't seen people on the trail around the lakes walking like that. I don't think ever. And I say that's the good thing from this dark cloud comes something special, and the fact that I'm a big environmentalist. And the earth hasn't had a break like this since the start of the Industrial Revolution. So at the end of the day, even Mother Earth is healing. You know, the animals healing. You could talk about the air in LA right now. You could
Yeah.
you could talk about everything that's going on, period. I was reading an article not too long ago about India. India said their air hasn't been this pure in 40 years. So we gave the earth a break, a well needed break. I think a well needed break for all the people out there that have been working for the same job for 10 years and they never had 2 months to wake up a little late to do nothing, completely nothing. For every bad thing that happened, 10 good things come from it.
I mean, I think what you're saying is at least once a year we should all stay in our homes for like 2 weeks and just watch TV and tend to our gardens and not go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yes, and get back to it. It should be I don't care what month it is. It should be a 2 week period where you cannot drive, you cannot do certain things, and you need to get back to the basics for 14 days. And I think
Yep.
it'll make us really learn the true balance between technology and nature. And both of them have to be respected, but you got to respect nature first. And I think it's a balance there that we need to figure out how we're going to get there, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not taking for granted the chance to be around my kids more. I mean, my kids aren't even that old, and I'm already like sad about them leaving for college. So I absolutely um, appreciate it, and I
And
know that
you
they
got to
will too.
realize your kids will always say, remember when the coronavirus was out,
Yep.
we had to stay in the house, all the stuff we did. We played Monopoly, we did this. You remember we did this? And so memories are coming out of this because it ain't no period like this for them to compare it to.
That's right. That's right. And uh, I'm genuinely concerned, obviously, and trying to shield them from as much as we can. But at the same time, I think that you know it's not about whether certain generations are soft or certain generations aren't soft, but but generations in history have been hardened by incidents over time, whether there be world wars or economic disasters or plagues like this one,
Yeah.
or worse than this one. So, you know, God willing, we make it through it, all of us here tonight, and then we're changed. Hopefully, if, like you said, for the better. And
Well, every generation got that, like you said, that one thing that defines them. Like you talk to your grandparents, they always told you about the Great Depression. That's why they hated banks. That's why they hide all their money in the mattress. That's how our grandparents were wired because of what they been through. Well, our kids are gonna be wired differently after this situation, just like after all situations. Like going through the airport was forever changed with 9/11. Every time something happens, it's a second effect that happens that I think puts us in a different mode, and I think we're going to be more family oriented because of this.
yeah, well, I think so too. What happened to our grandparents' generation that made them cover their couches in plastic? I don't know what.
I don't know about that one. I always wonder myself, and then not only did they cover it in plastic, you still can sit on it.
Yeah,
So
and you still
what's the
couldn't sit
whole
on it.
thing about putting it in plastic if you still not gonna let me sit on it?
Dude, they're not talking about it. Something happened, and they're not. It was so traumatic. They still haven't actually told us what it was. And at this point in time, I don't even want to know what it was because it must have been pretty severe. Um,
Maybe a dirty uncle came slept on every couch in America, and they just couldn't take it. They had to plastic all the couches in the
uh,
world.
I wonder what they name that holiday board. Where are you at, guys? Name that holiday. Dirty Uncle sleeps on the couches across. It's like the filthy Santa Claus that no one wants. Like, he sneaks into your house. Uh, hey, so Fred, how? I'll segue into some sports talk by asking you like the obvious that we've been talking about for the last month. How first of all, how weird is it that there's literally no sports on? And then now that you're past that, um, isn't it? How weird is it that our minds are so willing to accept the fact that like sports aren't coming back for a while? Like, should we be freaking out more? I mean, I'm not. I should be freaking. I feel like I should be freaking out a lot more because
No,
like they're
no,
not
no,
coming
no.
back.
Calm down,
That's why I
calm
called you.
down.
That's why I called you.
And see, the thing about it is, the one thing that people are very uncomfortable with is the unknown, the unpredictability of the fact that we don't know. And what we do know, if people just sit down for a minute in the house for 3, 4 weeks, it'll be all over with, and we can start to get back to some of the norm. But the fact that we don't know scares everybody until we ain't gonna have this and we ain't gonna have that. Now I remember where I was the day the world stood still, and that was the day that sports was all called off. Because this would be a different feel if we were stuck in the house. Plus, we could watch sports. See, it's a difference than just being stuck in the house, but you can't get that getaway from reality, which is sports gives us the ultimate. Sports is the first and longest running reality show of all times. And it allows
Greatest.
all us to escape and become part of that crowd or become part of that game at that time in history. So I think if people just be patient, everything will be figured out. Now, how fast we get back to filling up arenas is a new thing. The good thing about what we're dealing with, it moves like the flu. But we know one thing about the flu, it's seasonal. All right,
Yep.
so with the heat comes barriers. With the fact that people are closed off in their house come barriers. So hopefully we'll hit the curve very soon, and we can move on and we can pick up with sports, but better more pick up back with regular life.
Yeah, and well, that's the part of it you just touched right on it is that one when they do change this and they do say okay everyone you can leave your houses. I mean, there's going to be some period of time and it'll be different for everybody on where do you go and how soon do you go there. And to me, it's like 100,000 seat stadiums are going to be one of the first place. I mean, hopefully people go back to restaurants and bars, and get those people working again, and get those places back up and running, and hopefully people feel comfortable enough to put 50, 75, 100 people in a restaurant. That'd be a great
Yeah.
step one. But 100,000 people,
People gonna have cabin fever. They going back. There
mhm.
ain't no question. Like we had to basically barricade everybody in their house to start with. I don't think people gonna have no problem from getting out, getting back to the norm. Now we got to ask ourselves, what is the new norm? We're gonna be totally a cleaner society after this. The norm will be to regulate cleaner environment. So I
Yep.
think after that, I think you give it 2 3 weeks, everybody get to moving around and everybody get to actually going out more closer to their home and more putting more money into their communities.
I think that I agree. The things that have changed that will stay the same for a while are the obvious things. Like people are going to get freaked about crowds for a while, but that'll ultimately settle back down. But let me ask you this: what's something that you're doing during this quarantine at home that even when sports comes back and you start to have your schedule demands return, what's something that you're doing right now that you're gonna keep doing it even after the world returns to normal?
Oh, I'm writing a couple movie scripts right now. That's a hobby I've had for 4 or 5 years. Coach Gibbs, I always thought I was good at anything entertainment. So I started taking on writing a couple movie scripts. Of course, I'm working on the safety, the Sean Taylor movie. I'm
Yep.
co-producing it. We're writing it. We're writing the script as we speak. So I really got lost into writing. I enjoy it. I enjoy the depth of it. I think I'm a great storyteller. So
I agree.
putting it to paper is different. But yeah, I've came up with some incredible stories, some incredible storylines, and I can't wait to really start working on this movie with the other co-producers with the safety movie about Sean, man, because that's one project that's close to my heart, and I have a lot of intimate information and some incredible scenes. I think that we're gonna repaint to just let people know who Sean was.
Well, when you watch this episode tonight and you see this face that's coming at you on our First Amendment Sports channel, I want to inspire you to maybe figure out a role because it's not so much my face as my mustache. It deserves a role in a football movie, and so just you be the judge. You be the judge, and your people and our people can talk, and that'll be great. But you have been following the Washington Redskins because the NFL is still the game going in town. I mean, there's no NFL action per se, but it's the only sport where the calendar is still active and the things that they do this time of year they can still do. So free agency and the draft. Are you buying into Ron Rivera's rebuild? Right, let's just call it that.
Am I buying into it?
Yeah,
I wrote him a big check. I want part of his campaign. At the end of the day, for the first time in 100 years in Redskin Park, the head coach was a football player. The defensive coordinator was a football player. The assistant coaches played football. Everybody in there is football all the time. You can just tell when you go over there now. Totally different atmosphere. All work, no glory. And it's just a mood over there is changed. And you can see right now, the Redskins has been very boring. That's what he does. He just getting the job done. No splash. No go out here and sign somebody for $70 million that don't deserve it. All he does is go out there and fill in some cracks. He's gonna have a crazy draft, especially if we draft from Chase Young with the second pick, which I think all signs point to that.
I agree.
But at the end of the day, I think he's doing a great job over there. I am excited for Redskin football. The one thing you know about this team, they will be physical, and that's on offense and defense. And it simply is that. He wouldn't have it no other way. So I can't wait to see how he molds this team. I'm happy to see Kendall Fuller back in the house. The one thing I tell people about free agents, just because a person played well in one spot, when you move to another team, you got to take on a new locker room. You got to take on new teammates. You got to take on a new coaching staff. You got to take on new equipment managers. You got to take on a new city. You got to take on everything. And that first year is getting to know every aspect of it. They're not just going to come in and just, if he has 7 picks over here, he's going to have 7 for us. That's just the way it don't go. So I like them bringing Kendall back reintegrate him into a locker room that he's already familiar with, a city he's already familiar with, everything. So that makes him not even a free agent. That makes him a homegrown player that just came back, just like I did. I know how that felt personally to go to another place and not like it as much as you like your other place. You can't ever get the best out of a player if a player is not happy. Simple as that. And when you find that happy spot, that's when you had to stay. But I'm excited about what they're doing over there, and I think they're building the team the right way.
So I think we've beat it up enough on what may or may not happen in the first round, trading down or staying put at 2. I think we can all agree at this moment in time, everything to what you said. Rivera had a press conference today. He essentially connected all the dots. The Washington Redskins are almost certainly going to take Chase Young. And if that's true, on this show, when it comes to being the team that drafts Chase Young, we all agree, obviously. And Fred, just so you know, we watched him play in high school. He's from around here.
Yeah.
First Amendment Sports, we cover that high school conference. So the WCAC, we were on the sidelines watching Chase play at DeMatha, and saw him play at Pilate before he switched over to DeMatha, actually. And Kevin Ricka talks about that all the time.
It's so funny how this DMV team, this Washington Redskin team, is taking on a DMV pedigree. All the guys, we're getting a lot of guys that either played around here, from here. So these guys will have a little bit more to play for. It's a hometown pride aspect that's going to come in. If I go through the roster and tell you this guy was from here, this guy from here, we'll go 12, 14, 15 deep with guys that got connections and ties to this area, period, even down to the quarterback.
That's right, and of course Kendall Fuller played ball right up the street from me right now. Our main man in the middle, Jonathan Allen, played ball out there by you.
Asbury. He moved back home after he got drafted. Then you got a guy like Jimmy Moreland. Then you got when I keep calling these guys, a lot of these guys is from schools around here, and that's why in the draft we might need to stay looking in this area for some more draft picks out there.
And they know who Chase is also. When you talk about, I've talked to Kevin and T. At this point in time, we're operating under the assumption that we're drafting Chase Young, and so we're kind of moving the conversation to Chase Young is the starting werewolf on our defense. So you have Montez Sweat, Chase Young, Allen Payne, Settle, and Ioannidis, in that middle rotation. And you have Kerrigan to essentially at this point in time, he's backing up either Sweat or he's coming in, to be fresh legs, right? If you get Reuben Foster back,
he's a situational player right now in his career. He's a pass rusher and a pass rusher only. Even in his prime, he never really been a guy that ever had 90 to 100 tackles because against the run, he's not as physical as he is when he's rushing the passer. So that's why Kerrigan is going to make the ultimate plug-and-play player anytime they need that to happen.
Well, let me that reminds me of a question I was going to ask you about, because you talked about Jack Del Rio being a former player. Also, what's his rep? Like, what do players? Because he's kind of had a cool persona about him on the sidelines as a coach over the over his career. With his leather jackets and his kind of. I mean, he's got a little swag. What do the players think about him? Playing for
Well, there's a couple different reasons that you either like or respect or see a coach a certain way. Like, for instance, Coach Joe Gibbs had what we call the granddaddy effect. And what you do for your granddad is basically anything he asks you to do. He asks you to run through a brick wall, you say how many times, because that's your granddad and you don't want to let him down. Then you have some that just Belichickish and they just totally disciplinarians, tunnel vision, not really concerned about the person, concerned about what the product on the field is. Then you have the lovable coach, the Andy Reid, who's not the disciplinarian, who's more of the players' coach. So you just don't want to let him down because he don't threaten you and he keep it very honest with you when he talks. But then you had a guy you respect because he did what you done. And Rivera is an ex-football player. He did what you did.
85 Bears. 85 Bears.
Yes. So when he look at you and say, this is what we have to do, to win this game, you as a player understand he been there and done that. So you respect it a totally different way.
I'm excited about that. I know I think rightfully looked at the defense over the last few years as my source of hope and I know reason for watching. Especially in the beginning of the season when they've been healthy at the beginning of the last 2 or even 3 seasons, they've played well. But as soon as they've been paper thin, and as soon as you start getting into the depth, and all of a sudden you're down to your fourth or fifth or sixth cornerback. I mean, by the way, are you playing cornerback? Who's playing cornerback for us this year, Fred? I mean,
Hey, I like the youngster. Give Haskins a chance. And that's what we have to do in this situation. We got to be patient. We live in a society that's a microwave society.
I'm
My
thinking
kids
corner.
like it all the time. Hot pockets and all the stuff that they can just put in the microwave. And I'm like, no, I'm going to cook a dinner, and it's going to take a little time. That's what sometimes it takes time. When grandma cooked food, it took time. It's going to taste different. It's going to have love in it. And it's going to take a little time for this kid to get where he needs to be. But luckily, he has a defensive first head coach who's always going to keep the game, the game at a certain pace where he will be able to grow inside of this offense. I think Haskins is going to be the quarterback. I think coach is just playing great Jedi mind tricks on him right now with roster moves and bringing in Kyle Allen to light a torch on him, let him know it's now or never. You need to get on it. So therefore, I understand it. Let Master Yoda do what he needs to do.
I'm glad that I got your Haskins take. I was saying corner to who's going to cover because I still think we need a cover guy. Although I do like our defensive back depth.
You don't like Runner Darby?
I like him, but I don't feel like I know a ton about him. I'm probably more interested in seeing on the back end, putting all the defensive backs in one grouping just for a second, safeties and DBs, and putting them wherever you're going to put them. I'd love to see what your boy Sean can do wherever they put him, whether it's next to Landon or not. And I'd love to see Jimmy get more time. I've always liked Fabian Moreau, and I think he has. And he's going to have a chance to show it. And it's going to show. It's going to show up or not this season for him. So it's not that we don't have the bodies, but in the secondary, my concern is we're going to be so stacked in the front seven with our.
Thank you.
We're going to be so stacked.
I was waiting on you to say the obvious. Like, let me tell you something.
Yeah, it's the obvious. Go ahead.
When the last time we won a Super Bowl in this city?
1991 season with Mark Rippon at quarterback.
Who were the dominant players on that team? Was it not the Hogs on offense? Was it not Dexter Mann and the rest of those guys? Charles Mann, the D-line. You can name the D-line name for name. That's how good they were. All right. Besides Darryl Green, you don't remember who the guys that was exchanging in the back end. So at the end of the day, if you got dominant fat boys, you got a chance to dominate. Period. Point blank, the big nasties dominate. At the end of the day, if my offensive line dominates your defensive line, we're going to score points. If my D-line makes sure your quarterback is uncomfortable the whole game and your run game don't happen, this game changes for you. It's all about the big boys. Mark my words.
It is all about the big boys.
From 4 and 12, they got Bosa. He unlocked 3 other first rounders on the D-line. We're going to have the same exact thing happen here with Chase Young. Don't worry about him getting 15 sacks. Worry about all the attention he's going to get guys like Jonathan Allen and Sweat one-on-one. Listen to me. This is going to be one of the nastiest pass rushes you have ever saw in your life. Quarterback's going to have nightmares about these guys. Sweat chasing you down from the other one. Sweaty Young is what I call it because they finna get after some people. It don't matter who we got back there covering because they ain't got a long time to cover. All they got to be willing to do is sit right there and let the quarterback throw them the ball. Period.
I would love to hear what you would have to say to your wide receiver when on like any given play when either Sweat or Young is knocking their quarterback down.
Oh, just giving it to them. Like everything you're doing as a receiver is useless. You can run all the routes you can run. I'm not moving. I'm going to sit here at 5 yards because I know one thing. Your quarterback ain't got long, and he got to get this ball out of his hand or he going to get killed. And when he throw it, we going to get it. Simple as that. That's what thieves do. If you play cornerback in the NFL, they tell me a couple of things about it. You lie, you cheat, and you steal. And that's the job that you actually do. People pay you millions to be a cat burglar. So you find out ways to dominate other players. And if I have a defensive line, there go half the game right there.
It should make things easier for those guys. I'm looking for because and you know what I love to me when you talk about unlocking players. I, I don't buy into people saying Landon Collins had a bad season. I don't buy into that, but I do buy into the
Because they don't watch football. They probably like look at Pro Football Focus all the time and
yeah.
think they actually grading it. But I haven't seen an ex-football player scouting part of their group.
I exactly. I loved Landon Collins last season. I feel like he did exactly what we knew he could do, but I'm excited for him. If we get Chase Young, when we get Chase Young, to me, you're unlock Landon Collins, and I think that's kind of something that people are sleeping on because, you know, Kendall Fuller is one of the smartest guys out there, right? If Ron Rivera tells him what to do, what dance moves to make, and be in a spot at the right time, he will be. Moreau and Moreland and some of these other guys, I agree with you. They have less time to cover. That should help them. But Landon Collins, now you're talking about a guy who's an elite athlete and an elite mind in terms of defense. He's young, and if you give him a defensive line like the one we're about to give him, to me like that could be like the biggest impact on our defense overall would be unlocking Landon Collins with a defensive line that can make the quarterback do stupid things.
Yeah, you're totally right. He's going to be a guy that I think he's going to play how he's going to play, like you said. I didn't think he had a bad year last year. They asked him to play close to the line of scrimmage. That's what he did.
Yep.
All right, so that's in a discussion. But I think a guy like Reuben Foster going to be a 100-tackle guy. Everybody's forgetting. We got 2 picks on this team that add to this draft pick. Now, they got drafted a couple of years ago, but we have yet to get games out of them. On offense, we got Darius Geis. He's your +1 of this draft also because he hasn't played enough games to where the fact you really know what he can do. All right, well, Reuben Foster, remember this. Reuben Foster might have a Pro Bowl year playing in this 4-3 because the 4-3 allows the linebackers to run sideline to sideline, and people forget about people that they don't see for a while. Reuben Foster will be a problem for most teams. He's going to be one of those guys that's going to come out the blue and have such a good year that he's going to be one of those core Redskins that a guy like Coach Rivera going to love. Don't forget he was a linebacker.
I will never forget. That's why all his pickups, drafting Thomas Davis right away.
To set the tone. And he can be able to teach everybody else the defense. That's what coaches always do. They always bring the older guy in because they can actually be a coach on the field.
But you don't. So one of the things Thomas Davis has never sat. Now that doesn't mean that there won't be a time in his career where he sits, and it's not saying that he won't come here and sit. But I'm trying to understand who is playing over him, depending on what Jack Del Rio wants to do, because I still think he has a year of really good football in him, and I don't think he came here to be a player coach. Who's your starting 3 linebackers?
I did. What is this, 14, 15, 16 years for?
Yeah, he's 36. It was 35, 36, I think.
Yeah, so you're talking about a guy that understands where he is in his career. And he's not one of those guys that some guys has been started so long in their life, they don't know how to be a piece of the puzzle. Like a lot of people say that about basketball, about AI. He was such an alpha dog when they asked him to be the 6th man, he just couldn't do it. I don't look at Thomas Davis as that. And Ryan Anderson, when Coach finished looking at film from next year, he's going to be a guy that Coach Rivera is going to try to get on the field because he plays with a certain attitude and up tempo. When he sees Reuben Foster, he's going to want to put him on the field. So it's going to be a lot of these guys, and I think Thomas will be fine. The one thing I was always told, just because you put a Bluetooth radio system in an 85 Chevy, it's still an 85 Chevy. It don't matter that you upgraded the entertainment. He got a lot of miles on him, and he understands holding up 16 games right now, his career might not be the best for him. So I think he'll be one of those guys that'll be a part of a rotation with him, Kerrigan, and the rest of those guys, giving us one of the deepest linebacker cores behind a deep defensive line. I think that's all you can ask for as a Redskin right there. And I think he'll be fine with the end of his career being net for a team and being a teacher, being like a player teacher out there.
Well, I've always loved Thomas Davis, and I've always wanted him on my team. I wanted us to draft him 100 years ago when he came into the league. So I'm just happy that he's here, and it took Ron Rivera coming. I think he can still play. I like the idea of the old man shift with when Kerrigan and Davis come on the field. That'll be fun. Um, I like that you mentioned Geis because I think he's also a guy who between Geis and Reuben Foster, basically two guys who the Redskins haven't got. If they play for the Redskins, they haven't gotten a lot out of those guys, and if they get anything from them this season, it's kind of a big deal because neither of them are making a lot of money, and which is also a huge thing.
And guess what? You also forgot about the other mulligan we got. We got Bryce Love. That's a guy I'm very excited about. I
Dude,
think he has a chance to be a very Eric Metcalfish, Dave Meggett type player, if you know what I mean.
I do know what you mean. We're huge Bryce Love guys here as well. He makes Chris Thompson expendable. If you can have those words come out of your mouth. I mean, I hope Chris Thompson gets an awesome deal somewhere. I think if he's playing it smart right now. I would love to see him end up in Tampa Bay so he can maybe catch passes out of the backfield from Brady. But Chris Thompson, if he's any miles he has left on his tires, I hope someone gets him. But with the Redskins having Bryce Love, along with apparently 10,000 running backs, as well, Bryce Love's going to make this team. And I think he's going to probably get 7 to 10 touches.
No,
on
I
average.
think when he gets his chances, I think he will show that explosion that he showed in college. I think the only thing he needs to really work on, because we didn't see him do it a lot at Stanford, is catch the rock. If he can prove that he can really catch the rock out the backfield, he's a mixed match anytime you bring him on the field, because I think he can run the ball, and he's one of those guys, just because he had to sit out a year to get healthy, people just they forget about talent. They forget about what Coach Rivera is coming to this team with, and that's a set of clear eyes. He's not tainted by anybody. He's going to look at people for who they really are because he's married to nobody. He's married to nobody on this team, and he has a clear view of who's who, and I think that gives him a chance. Because he sees it's a ton of talent on this roster. Don't forget, before Alex Smith got hurt, this team was 6-3 and leading the division that the Super Bowl champion came out of that year. So you can say what you want about this roster. It has underachieved, had a lot to do with coaches and other things going on. Front office thing was going on.
Oh, yes.
But this team has some legit players on it.
You're preaching to the choir as usual. I know, you're the one who told me the truth about Cousins before it happened. Not that you were telling me exactly how it's going to go down, but you told me exactly what we should do, which is kind of what we ended up doing, and I think it ultimately, I don't know. I sometimes you just need to hear a good hard truth from somebody. Someone needs to look you in the eye and tell you how it is.
Yes.
I think that happened on the patio out back, and you were like, you got it. You were just like, listen to me. Listen to me. So I always, and then you know what I do? I'm a good listener. I try.
Hey, I'm just telling you the truth, and the truth hurts. It's songs made about that, everything. The truth do hurt. It hurts. It sticks you when you get a guy, you're like, all right, I don't know this guy's potential. Then somebody come tell you this is the potential he has. All right, and this it. He's never going to be a player that can single-handedly take a offense to a championship game. And I ain't say Super Bowl. I said a championship game and win the championship game because he can't throw outside the numbers. How many times did I tell you this? Like, think about this. Who was the disgruntled wide receiver with Minnesota?
Recently, Stephon Diggs.
All right, where do Stephon Diggs play, inside or outside?
I mean, he plays anywhere he wants, but he's most dangerous inside.
No, what's the name? The other receiver plays inside. Thielen plays inside. He's the slot receiver.
Okay.
And Stephon plays outside. And guess where the ball never goes?
Oh, deep and outside.
Thank you, because he doesn't believe in his arm out there. And if I'm a cornerback and I got to study him, which I've studied him before, and I'm looking at him like, all right, if I was playing him, I would only play inside leverage. I would sit down. I would force him to throw the deep ball, and I would run and track it down because he doesn't have the strongest arm. But I'm going to sit by my alignment, and I'm going to take away all inside routes, because that's the only thing he wants to throw. He don't feel comfortable doing anything else. And how many times in a game is Kirk going to actually go to his third, fourth read because he done got outside the pocket? That ain't going to happen a lot.
No, not very often. So then what change did Kirk Cousins make at some point this season? Because he all of a sudden started going deep to Thielen and Diggs. Was it like it was that or get cut? I mean, because he started doing it.
No. He started to feel the pressure, and he also started seeing receive. I mean, cornerbacks were doing what I just told you I would do. They were sitting. So he said, what the hell? I might as well let it rip. So, that was the thing. His receivers were getting on him like, just throw the ball. He wouldn't throw the ball. So at the end of the day, he just said, I'm going to let it rip. And that's what mine said he should be in anyway. When you got that much talent around you, you should be in that, damned if I do, damned if I don't. That's what I love about Brett Favre. You might pick him off, but he going to keep coming at you. It doesn't matter. And I think if Kirk plays like that, with that mentality, see, he has a very reserved mentality. He wants to get through. If he can get to the end of the game and the game can be tight and it's down to a couple of drives, that's what he wants. Instead of saying, I'm just going to blow this team out. We ain't got time to be playing with him.
Do you think
he doesn't think that ain't his mindset?
Do you think Diggs is better off in Buffalo with Allen?
You see the cannon that Allen has? now he got somebody that can really run under it. Like, that's the thing. I always told people, what you hate about a receiver like Deshaun Jackson or Tyreek Hill is they can get lost in your view because they're so fast and they're quick. Quick is the ability to stop and start. Fast is the ability to chew up yardage. And when you get a player that can do both, because usually fast guys can't stop and quick guys can't run. But when you get a guy that can do both of them, it makes him hard to stop. And what Stephon got is great balance also. He can actually be falling and keep his balance better than a lot of receivers I've seen over the years. And with Josh Allen pushing that ball, it's going to be deadly. The question is Josh Allen going to let the ball go?
He lets it go and it never lands.
Guess what? Because most people can't run under it. Stephon can.
Yeah, he can. Plus, as a, I guess just in general, I mean, maybe it's different for wide receivers, but do you care? Does it get you fired up when your quarterback runs the way Josh Allen does? Takes hits.
It gets me fired up anytime a quarterback does whatever it takes to win a game.
Okay.
And when you got a big guy that can move like that, ain't nothing makes us matter on defense than when a quarterback, then we make a good play on first down, then second down we shut them down. And here comes third down. We actually get the right play call from the coordinator. We actually run the play the way it's supposed to be. He can't throw the ball, and now this quarterback going to run for 11 yards?
Yep.
It's a backbreaker. It hurts. That's why you'll see players' demeanor change. Third down is a key down in the NFL. And when a quarterback runs for 11 yards after you didn't shut everybody down, you feel cheated. So, yes, it makes you feel good as a teammate.
Yeah, or when your quarterback throws for 5 yards on 3rd and 7. Those kinds of
Well,
things.
the thing about it is, sometimes I can't blame my quarterback. Where did the receiver run the depth to?
Okay.
All right. Did he run it to the right depth? Did he not keep running because the middle linebacker was sitting there? Did he read the right thing? Was it cover 3 and he thought it was cover 4? So at the end of the day, it's a little bit of both people, and that's why it's so much trust. And that's why I'm hoping Haskins is actually just, doing some work out with him and McLaurin, because at the end of the day, and him and the rest of the guys, because when it comes to quarterbacks and receivers, it's a trust factor there that he going to be where I'm going to throw this ball to. Because if I read something quick and get it to the right spot, we can have a big play. but I got to also trust that receiver, that tight end, to be in the right spot.
Yep.
And that's why I'm glad we didn't start to get a couple tight ends also.
How would you cover Terry McLaurin?
Well, here's the thing about Terry McLaurin. He's one of those guys, he's a jack of all trades. He's what I call a renaissance man. He's not great at any one thing. He's good at a little bit of everything. He's not the fastest in the world, but he damn sure fast. He's not the quickest in the world, but he get good and quick. He's not the biggest, but he ain't small. He can get in and out of cuts, and he can make the plays when they're presented, and he's very good with tracking the football. When the ball is in the air, he can track the football. So what I'm going to do against him is I'm going to press him, and I'm going to try to get that 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi. Hopefully, the guy, because he's normally going to be the first read of his quarterback. Yep. If I got him to 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, he got to go to another read right now. So my job with him is to beat him up early, try to distract him in the route, figure out where they're trying to use him at. Like if they're moving him inside and I'm an outside corner, they mean they're trying to get leverage on me, or they're trying to do something with him. So I try to figure out tendencies, what they like to do with him, and I try to stay. He's one of them guys got to stay between him and the ball. I wouldn't play off on him a lot. Like guys don't do well playing off on him a lot. Even when I was talking to Darius Slade, he was like, "No, he ain't the guy to play off on." And I was like, "No, he's totally not the guy to play off."
Let me ask you this, and this might be this is a pretty deep question. So hopefully you're sitting down. When you were growing up in Mississippi and you counted 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi when you were playing football, did you know that everyone who wasn't from Mississippi for around the entire country was also counting that same way?
You know what? For a long time, I didn't until like high school when we started to go to camps and stuff. And I noticed they would still somewhat do it. I went to my cousins in Chicago and kind of stayed the summer sometime, and they would do 1 Mississippi, but I knew they still had a big population of Mississippians living in Chicago. So then I was like, well, maybe it's a universal thing. And then I was like, yeah, it is, because it's so long. It's like the longest word that you can say that's a state. So therefore, yeah, Mississippi is what you got to do before you even rush the pass or whatever they doing it for at the time.
And you better say it right. Don't be skipping syllables. Don't be giving me a 1 Mississippi. No Mississippis. I used to be a Mississippi. I'd say don't even think about the Mississippi. It's Mississippi, because I'm standing backward with the ball. I want every one of them syllables all the time. I just thought, growing up in Mississippi, you probably were like, wait a second, why are you guys saying that? Like that's what we say in Mississippi.
Hey, we wondered for a while, but then I got the gist of it. I started to understand. It's just the longest state, and that's what probably that added to my collection of what I call this Mississippi inferiority that we have in the football world. We feel like we're the best group of Southerners. Like Texas and Florida get all the love in football, and we feel like per capita, per amount of people from the state, we do it better than anybody. We are the home of the goats. We got more goats in our village that we should be probably called a village off of Game of Thrones, maybe Hard Home or something. But at the end of the day, we got Walter Payton, the home of Walter Payton. We have Brett Favre. We have Jerry Rice. We are the home of Willie Brown, Lynn Burney. We have all the players pound for pound. If I put our Mississippi team together, they going to be damn hard to beat by anybody. Even now, I argue with Alabama ex-football players like me and Chris Samuels argue all the time about talent level, and I tell him this. Right now, if I put an all-Mississippi team together, the guys that played in the state of Mississippi college ball, and he put an all-Alabama team together, we would beat them. I'm sorry. Who gonna be the quarterback for the all-Alabama team?
Bo Jackson. Bo Jackson's the quarterback. He's everything.
No, I'm talking about if you put a team with the players that's active in the league today.
Yeah. Oh, okay, just today.
So I'm talking about the Alabama Crimson Tide.
A.J. McCarron, right? A.J. McCarron?
All right, A.J. McCarron. I would have Dak Prescott.
Yeah, you would. Well, but also we have Auburn, but there's no Auburn quarterbacks. I think.
I've been saying I was saying from SEC school to another one.
Yeah.
See, it'll be crazy if I told somebody if I took all the NFL players that's in the league right now, I can go position for position and I can name a player that you can't name from Mississippi State. That you can't name from Alabama that's better than the guy from Mississippi State. Right now, if I told you name a cornerback from Alabama that's better than Darius Slay, who would you tell?
Alabama. Who are the last couple guys from Alabama? Dre. He came from Alabama, right?
None of them. None of them. You can name all of them you want. The closest one that somebody will say is better than Big Play Slay is Mika Fitzpatrick, who had his breakout year this year. Slay been doing it for years.
I like Slay better. I was trying to help you out by making an argument, but Slay's for real.
All right, D-line. You know, the home of the D-line seemed to be Alabama. They have 3 every year. Name me one that's better than Fletcher Cox. Name me one that's better than Chris Jones. Name me one that's better than Jeffrey Simmons. You can't.
Well, you're talking about just guys who played college in Alabama?
Guys that played for the Alabama Crimson Tide.
So, I'm partial to my guys. I'm partial to your and my guys in the middle. Jonathan Allen doesn't have the size of Cox, but Jonathan Allen's a bad dude, man.
He's a bad dude, but he ain't Fletcher Cox.
All right. Wait to see what it looks like.
He got voted all decade team. Did you not see that?
I saw it. I saw it. It's been, you know what? When guys get drafted by that terrible team up north, they just kind of become dead to me. It's hard for me to enjoy their success.
All I'm saying is the appreciation is not there. But some guys do quality, some guys do quantity. We do quality at Mississippi State. That's all I'm saying. If a guy comes to the league from Mississippi State, they gonna hold up for their team and be a big part of why they win. You can't tell me you ain't watched that Super Bowl and see Chris Jones all over the field.
First of all, Chris Jones is one of the best defensive linemen. First of all, the fact that we had a lot of fun with it also. And when he ran his combine run and his junk fell out of his shorts when he was trying to run the 40-yard dash. That was hilarious, and everyone just he had that like Tom Brady combine perception, like, oh, you know, the guy whose junk fell out during the 40-yard dash. That's all. Everyone kind of slept on the fact that he might be one of the most dominant defensive linemen in the National Football League right now.
Yeah, listen, and if you hear anybody talk about Tennessee right now and what they got to say about Jeffrey Simmons, he gonna be special. Period.
Just about Isaiah Simmons? You talking about Isaiah Simmons from Clemson?
No, I said Jeffrey Simmons, the defensive lineman at Tennessee Titans right now. He came back for the last 6 games. He was hurt, and I think he had 6 sacks in 6 games.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great time, I guess, for SEC defenses. I mean, when has the SEC been bad in defense, Fred? I mean, let's be honest. They just always have guys who love to be fit. It's a certain love of physicality in the SEC on defense that's not common. Like maybe certain programs in the Big Ten and the ACC, they might have a coach here and there who will say no one does it like we do it. Maybe Dabo's out there saying it right now, but if we're being honest, for a long time now, for the longest time that I can remember, SEC defenses, I mean, you always want a piece of an SEC defense. I mean, why wouldn't you ever want to be dipping into that pool? I mean, you're dumb if not otherwise.
Yeah, you're totally right. But I was being specific to one school, the one in Stark Vegas, Mississippi, Mississippi State University. I was just being honest about the fact if you go through the last decade of football players, when I get to naming them, our quality is better than the number. Like, let's not lie. Alabama for the last decade, 2 decades, has been that school, sprinkled in by a little LSU and a little Clemson, and Florida State had a little run. But for the most, it's been Alabama. But for all the quantity that they sent to the NFL, the quality ain't adding up.
Preston Smith or Montez Sweat?
See, that's what I'm asking you. We'll throw in a Derek McKinney from the Texans.
No,
KJ Wright from the Seattle Seahawks.
I mean, but I'm asking you, who would you rather have on your team between Preston Smith and Montez Sweat?
Well, I'm gonna always go with the younger player because I get more years, especially if their template is the same. Yeah, Preston is hitting his prime right now, but The I'm like Jordan. The ceiling is the roof when it comes to Montez Sweat.
Speaking of, real fast, thank God they're moving that show up, right? I mean, are you? Is that going to be? Is that like part of your curriculum when they air that Jordan documentary on?
Oh, I can't wait. But I can't wait, and I'm happy because I really get to watch it with my sons
Yes,
and realize because they don't know Michael like we know Mike.
I
Like
know.
all they know is LeBron. They know LeBron, they know Steph Curry, but they know of Michael because they love his shoes. But they don't know how dominant and competitive and what he did on the court. They don't really know.
Oh, I can't wait for the exact same reason, Mike. And because it's like of all the 30 for 30s and the docudramas and sports, nonfiction, most of it's great. I mean, sports is just great, right? But it also gets to be too much sometimes. Like I almost can't watch some of that stuff because because it's just constant and never ending. But this is so my kids are at the age where they love that I don't know where they're out of kids movies, but they're not all the way into like the adult movies yet. So they're in that sweet spot where you can watch like all time great stories, and
Yeah.
they like you couldn't write the Jordan story script. Like even you in your whatever you're doing, in your script writing basement right now. Like there's no way you could come up with. Maybe you could, but there's no way you could come up with the Jordan story. And it's like you're gonna be looking over. I just want to be looking at my family while they see when certain things happen, and just see them be like, wait a second, did that really happen? Like, is that for real? Are they just saying that because it's TV? I'm like, no, no. He actually quit after winning 3 straight championships and said,
Yeah.
I'm
Quick.
just gonna play baseball, and he
Yeah.
did. And then he came back and won 3 more
Stunk at
championships.
baseball. And stunk at baseball. Like sometimes we just gotta call a spade a spade. And
Hmm.
everybody ain't good at everything. All right. And then the best thing in the life that you can do is find them one or two things that you're great at and be great at them. Now, Michael, for all the things I love Jordan for, baseball wasn't one of them.
I do have a question from the board. I've made a promise to the Hogs Haven faithful, and it's a standard question. We get asked this question. All of our guests get asked some form of this question, Fred. So you're going to get some form of this question tonight. All right. So it's a global pandemic. You're stuck at home. You haven't been outside for weeks. You don't even know what's going on. You're completely disconnected from the world. Cable TV is out. The
Ooh.
electric grid is coming on and off. You might have a couple hours a day, and that's it. You got just enough clean water to keep yourself in showers, and keep everyone clean. And other than that, it's just you and the family. Question is, what sandwich are you making?
Woo. Well, I told you I grow my own garden,
I know
so
you
I
do.
got all the vegetables I need. So I have to take some of that shower water and put it to grow in my garden because I need that food because, of course, everything is unpredictable at this time. So I might have to go vegan. Cause see,
Whew.
I was always prepared for this because I'm like from Mississippi, and I was a vegan not by choice. We didn't have no money at the time. I grew up, we learned so for certain spells, might have to be a vegan. So what I would do is take the supplies I have, make them stretch, and more than sandwiches I would make, I would try to turn those supplies into salads and use the bread to eat the bread is something that could also put a little keep some weight on you.
Well,
Mississippi, we always about surviving.
I know. You work too hard though to survive. Sometimes you just gotta.
Like you said, I wouldn't. The options were unpredictable.
Yeah.
Everybody's going through the same thing. Your
Yep.
money status don't matter.
Yep.
How big your house don't matter. Nothing matters but the facts. And the facts is we have electricity 8 hours a day at
Yep.
the most, 10 hours a day. All right, we got this, and these are our options. Now it's up to me to figure out what's the best way to do these options. And guess what? We're gonna make things scratch. I'm gonna go back to the old days. I'm gonna go back and thank grandmama for raising me and showing me how
Yep.
to make things scratch. You give me a bowl of sugar, I got sugar water and a sugar sandwich. That's all the step up I need right there.
Oh, you know what? You just passed the good dad test too, because you basically you weren't thinking about just yourself. You were thinking about how do I get my family through this, and so there you go. You were.
Yeah, that's the number one thing. And if I had
Yep.
to second face a shower every 2 days to do that, that's fine.
Oh, that's great. Well, I tell you what, I appreciate your time, and I'm stealing it right now. I'm gonna let you go, but I can't let you go until we just do one more little mini draft. And you were one of you. We've been doing. I've been doing drafts on this show all the way back to when we were doing shows together. And I always remember the rapper draft. And I know you think I took Farside too early, but that
Yeah,
continues.
you did.
But that continues to be a source of pride for me. They deserve to be drafted. Maybe they're Mr. Irrelevant, but they deserve to be Mr. Irrelevant, I think.
Yeah.
But tonight we're gonna do rap songs. So we're gonna do 3 rounds, and I'm gonna give you, of course, the honors of going first overall. Rap songs, all time. People on the board, you guys get to decide who has the best team of 3 rap songs. Go for it, Fred.
All right, with my first one, because I believe in the numbers. All right, if I'm gonna attack you like this, I gotta attack you with the numbers. My first song I'm gonna throw on the board is "Cream Get the Money" by Wu-Tang Clan. All right, Method Man, RZA, Jizza, all of the guys expect the deck. I'm gonna give you "Cream Get the Money," dollar bill, y'all.
Well, and Wu Tang was pretty much your first choice, if I'm not mistaken. Uh,
Well, no, I love the Wu. All right, it ain't my first choice because if this is my first, you say the best for last.
yep.
So we starting off with my pick right here, but I'm saving the best for
Okay.
last, and it's
Okay.
gonna be hard for you to top Cream Get the Money, dollar bill. Yeah.
I'm gonna get specific on a guy who was part of a greater rap act, but and maybe it's a recency thing, but it was a good day by Ice Cube. That's gonna be my first overall choice.
So you fight with no gloves. You want to fight a little dirty, huh? All right. So I'm gonna have to go down. Huh?
No, there was there's a couple of different places I could have gone there, but I wasn't gonna give you a chance to either break up NWA or take an NWA song.
All right, and that's a good mode. See, I'm gonna go down south for this one. Actually, I'm gonna go right outside a small city in outside of Houston, and I'm gonna go Diamonds up against that wood. UGK, Underground King, Pimp C, and Bun B.
How many mixtapes, pregame warm-up situations was that going for you?
Oh, all through high school, junior high, college, all of the above. Most definitely.
All right, well, they're on my wall, and on my wall for a reason. And if I had to go with one song from them to complement my Ice Cube song, I guess I will go with Check the Rhyme, Tribe Called Quest.
You always got to bring Trap Crowd questions, huh?
They're the greatest. They are the greatest rap group of all time.
You really feel that way.
I do.
What's wrong with you?
They're right. I mean, they're right there. They are right there. You know what it was, Fred? I'll tell you what it was. I didn't know a lot about Tribe when I was like 13, 14 years old. And I went to McNamara over there in Forestville, Maryland. And one of the seniors had a cassette of Low End Theory and for practice. And he was the senior on the team, and he was the captain. So he got to choose music. So every single day, no matter what, the entire first like 50 to 60 minutes of practice was Low End Theory every single day. And so you either love it or you hate it, and I loved it. So it always hold a special spot in my heart.
All right. I understand. All right. Well, with my last pick, I say these two guys for the end. I'm staying in the South with this one because I'm a Southern. I hate to leave Jay-Z and Kanye out of this. I really dig those guys. But Andre 3000, holds a spot in my heart. Of my personality, I love that guy. So I'm going to have to go Southern playalistic Cadillac music. Most definitely.
Okay.
By my boys, Big Boy and Dre 3 Stacks.
I'm just playing speaker box for my son right now, like taking him through the whole thing. and I played Bombs Over Baghdad for him, and he like couldn't even recognize them. And I've been playing a lot of speaker box, and when we played Bombs Over Baghdad, he had no idea it was the same group. I'm like, these guys, they've been doing it for a long time, a long time.
Yeah, I have to tell people now. Everybody kind of give Drake the love for mixing the music and the singing and the rapping. Man, Outkast been doing that from the dope.
All right, so I get to close it out, and you left everything on there for me. You left Eminem out there. You left Biggie out there. You left CL Smooth out there. I don't know why you left CL Smooth out there. First of all,
I left Tupac out there. I left Snoop Dogg out there. I left a couple people out there. I understand that I had to sacrifice.
By the way, the UGK, I did not see that coming, and that's amazing.
Diamond up against that wood. If you listen to it when we get off the phone,
I'm going to.
You're going to text me back crying.
International Players Anthem is like the one that everyone always says, but the fact that you went with the wood just makes me smile. I love it. I have a super soft spot in my heart for Public Enemy because I just think Chuck's like just a protest genius. But
they broke up.
They broke up. They fired him.
They fired
Flavor Flav. I can't believe they fired him, by the way, but they did. All right, so I'll get on with it, and I will go. I'll go. You know what? I'll go Tupac just because it's either Tupac or Biggie right now. But I'll go Tupac, and I will give it to. Let's see. It's either Two of America's Most Wanted or, because I say Two of America's Most Wanted because then I get Snoop in that. Bam.
See, I understand what you're trying to do right there, but you got to ask yourself: do the two individuals, the songs that they have together, Snoop and Tupac got numerous songs together. I don't think you can go shot for shot with Andre 3 Stacks and Big Boy.
But Outkast but Tupac and Snoop weren't a band. Outkast was a band. I mean, Outkast wasn't that.
But that's why you did it right there. That's why you went with the dual hit right there, because I just came with Outkast.
I could have sung CL Smooth and Pete Rock and a little Troy. Since you went CREAM, I could go TROY on you.
Hey, I'm just saying. I just throw stuff out there and see what I catch.
You usually catch it all, Fred. As I'm happy to say, I'll cover 10% of tonight's topics, and the rest is covered by Smoot. But did you patent that? Did you ever trademark that?
I did a little paperwork on it. It's one of them things that's hard to trademark.
Oh man,
it's hard to trademark. But in the world's eye, I am the man who coined it. All right.
Yeah, you are. Smoots Mac.
Anytime, bro.
Hey, Fred, thank you so much for your time. Please come back and hang out with us, especially when this is all over and we can hang out again. I got a couple bottles of the Brown Goodness with your name on it, and we will hang out and talk some football and everything else. I can't tell you how happy I am to hear your voice and how proud I am of you and how lucky those kids are to get the education that they are most definitely getting right now. Stay well, stay healthy, and just know that there's a lot of folks out here who love you, and we appreciate you, man.
Hey, man, thank you, man. Thank you. Love everybody, man. Everybody take care of themselves out there. It'll be all over soon, and when it's all over, check out this new company, this new app. It's called Wink and Drink. It's going to be the cure for cabin fever. Check it out. Thank you for having me, brother, anytime.
All right, Fred, we'll talk to you soon.
All right, brother. Thank you.
Always a fun night when Fred Smoot hangs out with us in the basement. God, that's fun. It just puts a smile on your face. Guys, if you're hanging out with us right now, take a 5-minute break. Come on back. We're going to have a post-game show. Me, Kevin T. Talk a little bit about what we talked about with Fred. Wrap up the week in non-sports and put this Tuesday to bed. Until then, he's Benjamin. I'm Ken Marangolo. This was Thank God It's Tuesday. See you guys in about 7 minutes.